The Utah Jazz ended their season with an absolutely embarrassing playoff loss to the Denver Nuggets as they blew a 3-1 lead. Now, the Jazz have made the playoffs for 4 straight years and have lost in the second round twice and the first round twice. And they have one of the best young players in Donovan Mitchell and another star in Rudy Gobert, along with many great role players on this team. But it looks like Utah has hit their ceiling with this current roster they have. So what do they do? Well, that's what I'm going to explain in today's video. So before we do get started, make sure you like the video if you guys did enjoy, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers, and a good percentage of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed. So if you like the type of videos I make on this channel and you're a fan of the NFL or the NBA, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And with all of that being said, let's get started. Now, let's go take a look at this roster first. First, we obviously have Donovan Mitchell, who's one of the best young players in the league, as he's put up the numbers of 24 points per game, 4 assists on 45% shooting from the field and 36% shooting from 3 on a great amount of attempts. And then we also got Rudy Gobert, who's the defensive anchor on this team and the secondary star next to Donovan Mitchell, as he puts up numbers of 15 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, along with 2 blocks, shooting 69% from the field. Utah also has some great role players on their team, like Jordan Clarkson, who has numbers of 16 points per game on 46% shooting from the field and 36% shooting from 3, and he's one of the best sixth man in the league. Mike Conley, who had a very bad regular season but was fine in the playoffs, as he put up numbers of 20 points per game, 5 assists on 48% shooting from the field and 53% shooting from 3. And Joe Ingles is also a really good role player, as he puts up numbers of 10 assists per game, 10 points per game, 5 assists per game on 44.5% shooting from the field and 40% from 3. And we also got to talk about Bojan Bogdanovic, who's one of the most underrated players in the league, as the guy scores 20 points per game on 45% shooting from the field and 41% shooting from 3. Really, the guy is one of the most underrated players in the league, and honestly, he's pretty good. This is a really good roster, but outside of Donovan Mitchell, there really isn't much of an offensive shot creator type guy. Now, Bojan Bogdanovic is definitely kind of like that. However, there isn't any secondary perimeter star really on this team. Rudy Gobert's a star, don't get me wrong. However, the guy is much more of a defensive-minded guy rather than just a perimeter shot creator. And the team really needs another one of those type of guys, because in that Denver series, the Nuggets could just double team him, and without another shot creator, it's not like they could do anything about that double team. Now, if Bojan was playing, I think they would have won that series, since he is kind of a secondary shot creator. However, I don't think Bojan Bogdanovic will be enough later on. Now, to me, this team ceiling is a second round exit, which they've hit twice already. And because of that, I think they should blow things up a little bit. Now, in the title it says, in the title of the thumbnail, it says blow things up, and I think they should do that, obviously, but really do it in a little bit of a minor way. I do think they should try and trade for another perimeter shot creator. As for who that could be, someone like Gordon Hayward, ironically, or someone like Drew Holiday, or someone like that. Personally, I'm not sure who specifically they could target. However, I think they should keep Bojan Bogdanovic, as he's a guy who can give you 16 to 20 points per game on very good efficiency. Now, let's talk about Rudy Gobert trade rumors. Now, personally, I'm iffy on trading Rudy Gobert. I think he's a really good player defensively. However, offensively, while he has improved, the guy, he really isn't a perimeter shot creator, and because of that, he isn't as important to Utah's offense, I guess, and teams have also found ways to start neutralizing him defensively. So if they think it's worth it, then I guess you could trade Rudy Gobert. Now, I will make things interesting and go over a few possible Rudy Gobert trades. Trade number 1, which is Rudy Gobert going to the Indiana Pacers for Miles Turner, TJ Leaf, Aaron Holiday, and a second round pick. Now, if you ask me, this is actually a pretty good trade for both sides, as Indiana gets very good defense from Rudy Gobert, and that obviously improves their defense, but it will hurt the spacing on their team, as Rudy Gobert is an absolute liability from the three-point line, while Miles Turner is also known to be a stretch big aside from his defense. Utah gets a really good return here, as Miles Turner, while he brings defense just like Rudy Gobert, and while it is worse, it's still very good, and it's a good portion of what Rudy Gobert's defense is. Not only that, but the guy provides floor spacing, so teams won't have to well, they just can't leave him open, really. And Aaron Holiday is a good backup point guard. TJ Leaf would be a nice forward to have. And the second round pick they can use on whatever. I could see Indiana doing this mainly because, well, Miles Turner, he's had a little bit of controversy in Indiana as his fit has gotten worse on the team thanks to Domantas Sabonis just drastically improving and emerging as a really good young star. And I could really see Indiana doing this. And if Utah thinks that Rudy Gobert just isn't the real deal and they'd rather, well, they want to improve their future plus get some three-point shooting and defense, well then I guess why not do this. And as for trade number 2, it's Rudy Gobert to the Knicks, with the Utah Jazz getting Mitchell Robinson, Dennis Smith Jr. and Julius Randle and a second round pick, while New York gets Rudy Gobert obviously. Now I just decided to do this trade since the New York Knicks seem all in on getting a star player to attract another star player in the 2021 free agency class, and that's what it would exactly do. Now Mitchell Robinson is a good young center who looks to be a pretty good defensive guy, so Utah definitely gets some defense for the future. Dennis Smith Jr., who knows what's going to happen with him. Julius Randle looks like he can be a really good sixth man, especially on a playoff team like Utah, and the second round pick they can use on, well, whatever. To be honest though, I'm not sure if Utah would really do this trade, since this will immediately make them a worse team in the short term, but it will improve their, well, I guess it should improve their future in the long term. However, this would be good for New York, mainly just to attract guys, and while it will hurt their future, I guess New York would probably do this trade, mainly because of what they seem like that's what they want to do, but I don't know if Utah would do this trade. But on to trade 3, which is Rudy Gobert to the Celtics, with Boston receiving Joe Ingles, Rudy Gobert, and Ed Davis, while Utah gets Gordon Hayward, Daniel Tice, and a second round pick. Now, if you ask me, I'm not sure about this one, mainly because, like the Knicks trade, because the return Utah is getting is, it's okay. Daniel Tice is a hustle guy. The second round pick they can use on whatever. Gordon Hayward, ironically, going back to the Jazz, he would be very good for this team as another shot creator. As the guy, he can give you a lot of points, and he can do it pretty efficiently. He can fit in on whatever team. However, Utah's defense would immediately get worse, as unlike the Indiana trade, at least they'd get some good defense back in return. Plus, they'd lose Joe Ingles, who's a very important part of their team, really. So if you ask me, I don't know if they would do this, but it does really seem like Boston would probably want to pursue Rudy Gobert, as aside from depth, their only weakness on the team is, well, inside defense. But with all that being said, we all go on to our final trade, which is trade number 4, which is Rudy Gobert going to the Dallas Mavericks, with Dallas getting Rudy Gobert, Utah getting Dwight Powell, DeLon Wright, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a second round pick. If you ask me, I guess this is a solid return for Rudy Gobert's caliber, as Dwight Powell is a very solid big man, DeLon Wright's a really solid point guard, Dorian Finney-Smith is a good 3-and-D wing, and the second round pick they can use on whatever, as I said before. Now, Dwight Powell is fine. If you ask me, this is a fine trade for Utah, I guess. It's probably the second best, but if I had to say any of these trades are which one's the best, it's easily the Indiana trade. And Dallas would definitely like this trade a lot, as while they would lose some important guys, Rudy Gobert would be nice next to Kristaps Porzingis, as Rudy Gobert is a very good rebounder, and Kristaps Porzingis is not a good rebounder for a guy who's 7'3", and Rudy Gobert would also add a lot of defense, and Dallas would immediately get the best front court defense in the NBA. So what do I do if I'm Utah? Really, if I'm Utah, as I said before, I would just get another perimeter shot creator next to Donovan Mitchell, because Donovan Mitchell, aside from Bojan Bogdanovic, who's kind of like that, really, who else is another perimeter shot creator on this team? Yeah, not really anyone aside from Donovan Mitchell and kind of Bojan Bogdanovic, because Utah really needs that if they want to be taken to the next level. In that Denver series, you could easily tell that they would just double team him. They couldn't really do anything since Bojan was not playing because of an injury, and while he was playing, I do think they would win if he was playing, but later on in these tougher rounds, aside from Donovan Mitchell, who's gonna step up? I don't think Bojan Bogdanovic, unfortunately. I don't think he will be able to be that guy. If you ask me, on a championship level team, Bojan is maybe like a role player, I guess, like a maybe third option at best, fourth option, whatever. I think they should just trade for another perimeter shot creator. And I do think they should probably move on from Mike Conley, as the guy is just a worse version of his prime days in Memphis. Now, that will be hard because of his big contract, and assuming he accepts his player option, as, I mean, why wouldn't he, since he's not going to get more than $30 million a year from another team. So if I'm him, I'd probably accept that. But if they could finesse their way to get someone like Drew Holiday or Chris Paul, that would be great for them, as they can bring good defense and shot creation to the team. Now, when it comes to trading Rudy Gobert, if you ask me, it depends. If he wants too much money, because since he is eligible for the Supermax contract, I would definitely trade him, as the guy is not worth the Supermax. And in fact, I don't even know if any player really is. But I mean, they would be worth it. But like, with all that being said, I think they should keep Rudy Gobert if they can, since I think he's a nice player to have, as he provides some very good defense, and he's a type of guy who, if your defense is average and you get him on your team, he's gonna make your defense one of the best in the league. I mean, that's just how good he is defensively. Now, when it comes to trading Donovan Mitchell, I mean, first off, I mean, if you request a trade, then yeah, sure. But if he doesn't, then hold on to him, since the guy looks to be the future of this Utah team. So if you ask me, really, just get another shot creator next to Donovan Mitchell, as the guy really needs someone else to just take the load off of him, and preferably a point guard, as Utah could easily use a better point guard. Is in their starting lineup. Point guard is easily their weak point. No offense to Mike Conley. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. It means a lot to me. If you guys liked today's video, make sure you click the like button, as it really helps out the channel and it doesn't take that long. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and you enjoy the type of videos on this channel and you're a fan of the NFL or NBA. A good percentage of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed, and I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers. So if you guys like these type of videos, well, make sure you subscribe, and also comment down below your video ideas, as if you wanted to see something on the channel, well, just comment it down below and I'll probably do it. And with all of that being said, you guys, well, I'm out.